So I finished Wild Justice, which is not a good book to read.
Oh,
It's New
you're
York
going to
Times
lay down
bestseller,
some
but-
rough justice on it, eh?
Well, it's really tasteless. The
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess a lot of people go for the sex mixed with violence thing. It's just
Yeah, a lot of people do. Really screwed up. So Game of Thrones is not an exception then. Was Diana Reagan Game of Thrones though?
Yeah.
It's one good thing to be said.
Today we're eating like kings again. It is 12:30, and I just finished getting all the food put away. I showed up at the Salvation Army for the food grab at 7:33 in the morning, and just finished reading the book. People were already waiting there. It doesn't open until 10. So I was the 6th person in line.
In line. So people were there already, 7:30.
But if you show up there, you'll understand why. Because, I mean, I must have... Today I got a lot more than I usually do because James came with the car. So I thought, well... So I got a lot of bags of the salad, and this creamy dill kind, I'll just... like I used up 2 bags of it for our meal right now, and well, mostly that's like 1 3/4 of a bag was mine, and then I put 1 of the bags of feta on his and 1 on mine, so he gets more feta and stuff because I thought that'd be a treat. But anyway, but I'll have to use that up because I noticed there's lettuce in it, so I'll have to eat a lot of. But that's okay. It's good for me to eat lots of salad. And the other one, the kale one, though, I put it in Ziploc bags and put it in the freezer, so we'll just eat it as stir fry later on. So, because I don't know if I'm going to go back to the Salvation Army again. And if I do, it won't be waiting at 7:30. It'll be peering out to see if anybody's waiting there, and if they're not, then I'll go. You know, so it'll be later in the day when there's not as much food or whatever.
Yeah, it's
Because COVID numbers are rising. I don't want to risk it. I didn't put the crouton stuff that they provided in with it because I thought, well, I can make this olive bread instead because it would be better.
Yeah, we had a good time waiting, talking to some 4 women from Syria. Comparing those. Mainly talking to one person who's done very well. Learning English in 6 years. Shockingly, really. She did translating and stuff like that. There was some stuff that we could communicate. where they were from, what their names were, things like that.
So there's 3 more cobs of corn that I cooked up if you were
Good.
wanting it.
Good.
So I don't really have anything else to review.
Yeah.
The book's bad. Don't read it.
Yeah. I just wonder why some novels get published. We were hearing a report a while back, and then they said only 10% get published. 10% that get submitted somehow or another. And you're thinking, wow, what are that? What's the other 90% like?
I mean, the author was obviously educated and stuff, and
Oh yeah.
I guess he'd worked as a district attorney or something like that, or I don't know what it was. Something that makes sense that he'd know about.
Yeah, yeah. I think John Grisham has some sort of legal background. That's what he seems to write about. Stuff that I find, I guess, kind of boring.
What else was in the news lately?
Someone 20 years ago gave me a John Grisham novel to read. I still haven't finished it. The Delta Plus variant was in the news this morning. And they were saying the Plus is just one mutation. Not really more virulent, not really more catchy, but it means you might have to tweak the vaccines. Well, geez, that means another shot. Right? Possibly. And they really weren't sure about whether it was more virulent.
Well, and
How
people
can
are
they
getting.
know? They
Yeah,
haven't
how
done
can
the
they know?
studies. They're
Then-
basically telling them, oh, don't worry here. Or what they say is, don't panic, which is really, don't worry, we've got it handled. It's important to worry.
And
It's a survival mechanism.
I was talking to well, the woman that I wanted James to meet. She's dressed like a movie star. She's very beautiful, from Syria.
Yeah, she's from Aleppo.
And she well, she lived in Turkey too, I guess, or whatever. But anyway, she
Well, she's a partly Turkish ancestry.
yeah. So she was saying that she had side effects from the shot, from the vaccine. I don't know, maybe just the booster. I told her I had side effects from the booster too. I was hallucinating. But, and I was pretty much in bed for 3 days. It was terrible. But really just the first night was the worst. But anyway, she has her symptoms, side effects, symptoms seem awful. They're like now she has allergies, so she's taking allergy medication. She went to emergency, I guess, but they said it's okay, this is normal. She doesn't have, they tested her, she doesn't have the virus. Oh boy.
Yeah. I know just how they'd handle it.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Gomer. Get out of my emergency room.
Yep. But anyway, so she's having a tough time with and that's just it. So if you don't control the virus, if you don't keep it out, then we're gonna have to keep getting these vaccines. And you're playing a bit of Russian roulette with the vaccines too, on whether what kind of side effects, and what kind of lasting effects you're gonna have from that. I mean, you don't know, right? So it's really disappointing,
I can't imagine. I've said it before, but it bears repeating because they keep on making stupid mistakes. It's bad enough to make one stupid mistake, but if you keep on making the same mistake over and over again, now I've seen adults do it. Soccer. It's called turning into trouble. So here's the soccer ball. Here's the defensive player. Here's the person with the ball. You never turn into trouble. Hey, take the ball away from me, because I'm a stupid idiot. And you'll see people. No, these are amateurs. At the most, semi-professionals.
I just find a way to pass it to the trouble right away.
Well, exactly right.
Yeah.
But, hey, and they'll do it again and again and again. And then they won't play defense to make up for their mistake. You end up, because you kind of care about the team, you end up covering up for their mistake, and then you pass it to them again, and you watch them turn into trouble again. Oh yeah, you'll be telling them, like someone will pass it to them, and then you'll be backing them up. Someone's on their rear end. You say, back it. Oh, they turn into trouble. Thank you. You ran into position to help them out, to give them a little support, stuff like that. You're wide open. You think they'd pass you? No. Now the whole thing is, these people aren't doing it for money. So you really can't get mad at them. But when you got people in positions of responsibility, they're drawing a wage, they're getting their measure of fame more than their full measure of fame. Justin Trudeau, of course, looks as though he's using his position to benefit his family. What is that called? Nepotism, which is a form of corruption. Maybe it's just appearing. I don't know. Really doesn't need the money. His dad was independently wealthy. Justin Trudeau's granddad was a bit of at least a small-time millionaire, I gather. I think Pierre Trudeau, Justin's father himself, was independently wealthy. So he doesn't need to do that. So what reward does he get? This measure of fame or whatever. It should be infamy. So Justin Trudeau should be doing jail time, really. Is there any justice in the world for Justin? For his brazen negligence about letting people out of the country, letting them in, out and in and out. But here's what I say to Justin. Justin, buddy, I don't necessarily want you to resign. Eventually you should be put in jail for a long, long time. Because there's something worse waiting in the wings with these stupid, flunky conservatives. Well, Justin, what I want you to do, until you're arraigned to go to court, is listen to your handlers, you stupid monkey. It's the monkeys got hold of the stick, He's handling the handlers. I should talk to the liberals. I should be in control. Get hold of that stupid stick and start banging Justin Trudeau around the ears. Get something through that thick skull of his. That he doesn't know.
He doesn't actually.
Bo Diddley.
He's not actually suggesting that.
No, don't do that physically.
No.
No. Don't misinterpret that, please.
It's his figure of speech.
It's all a trope. Yeah, don't do violence. I'm not encouraging any sort of violence, even in crypto fashion. But start yelling at this stupid idiot. Really loudly. Make a few threats. But yeah, Delta Plus. How far is it going to go?
Well, I have a problem with the fact that they've decided to use the Greek alphabet to name these variants.
Why did the Greeks get picked up?
Exactly. They had nothing to do with this.
I don't think the variants even come out of it.
No, I haven't heard of any variants coming from Greece. Yeah, they get the things named after their alphabet. So
I want the variants named after.
That's not fair.
The irresponsible leaders who let So the one out of Brazil should be called the Bolsonaro variant.
Yep.
The one out of England, the Boris Johnson variant. See how that works out?
That's fair.
Nothing you could even, not even a sniff of racism there. The couple that came out of the United States, Donald Trump Plus, and the Donald Trump and the Donald Trump Plus, or minus, or whatever. And the Modi, the one that came out of India, the Modi variant. The one that came out of China. I'm glitching on who the leader of China is now, the misleader, the Führer.
I can't help you out there. All I'm thinking about is how good this bread is. Wow.
So, you people on the internet, you take that idea and run with it. Start calling it these variants after the people who are responsible. I'm not talking about a nation.
Well, we're just going to do
culture.
it. From now on, we're going to call them that. Maybe it'll catch on.
I want to catch on forever. Anytime anything like this gets out of control, it's named after the country it comes from originally. That let it get out of control. And then the variants are named after the flunkies who let the variants develop.
It's a good idea.
And be preserved for posterity.
As much as we'll seem like Donald Trump calling it the China flu.
No. We'll be calling it Donald Trump variant.
That's true.
These leaders,
Of the
especially
China flu.
dictators, got to take responsibility
Yes.
for their gross incompetence and/or maliciousness.
Mm-hmm.
In the case of the Führers of the People's Republic of China, to call down Hitler doesn't mean you're a Germanophobe or anything like that.
I suppose that's true. Oh, I must have been hungry. I can't believe I ate all that salad. 2 pieces of bread.
Thing to understand is, of course, all of that issue about naming after countries are red herring. There are all sorts of full ghosts who go, oh, you can't do it, you can't. But you hear them talk about the United States. You hear them talk about white trash people. They have prejudice. You know, I don't say racist. Racist is a way too strong word for many of the uses it's being, almost all of the uses it's being used for nowadays. It's being used for microaggression. Which is basically just people taking offense at what you say.
Yeah.
For example, my sister who died, she was born in Africa. It was then called Northern Rhodesia, the country. Now called Zambia. Then there used to be just a line of rail. One railroad went from Livingston up to the Copper Belt. Presumably it went into the neighboring Congo. And then there was a big road that followed that. There was another road that forked off of that. I think it left Lusaka, the capital, and headed out towards Nyasaland. Then Nyasaland, it's now Malawi. And there'd be a few other roads, but hey, that main road that paralleled the line of rail, coming out of Livingston for a while, it was 80 miles away from where we lived, a place called Kelowna. Heading north from Livingston, maybe half the way, it was 2 lanes paved. But for the rest of it, it was 1 lane. Now, how did they handle it? 1 lane in the middle, and then wide shoulders. So you drove right down the middle on the pavement if there's no oncoming. If there's oncoming, you had 1 wheel on the pavement, 1 wheel on the shoulder. So they had to maintain the shoulders reasonably well. Going this way, and then the oncoming would do the same deal. So there wasn't a lot of infrastructure. So one time, my dad took my sister, who died much later. She was about 40. So she would have been about, at the latest, about 6 years old. And it would have been about that. She would have been 5 or 6. Back into what they call the bush. Probably taken from the Afrikaans. There were a few Afrikaners up there. They were tended to be socially dominant, at least on the mission that I was raised on. Even though it was 1 country removed from South Africa. In other words, a country in between, Rhodesia, Southern Rhodesia, later Rhodesia, and then now Zimbabwe. So my sister she had blonde hair, blonder than yours, when she grew up. But when she was very young, it was like lightning white. So they took her up there, and she had very fair skin. Blue eyes. They took her back in the book. And I guess most of the people in the village they went to never seen hair like that. They'd seen lighter hair. So what they did was they were touching it. See what I'm saying? It was very straight hair too. She had very straight hair. Like you've got straight hair, but hers was just as straight. It wouldn't take a curl or whatever. She tried to curl it, and by the time whatever she was wanting to go to was happening, like part of it would still be curled, and then the other side, it'd be a floppy curl, and then just totally straight. So it's best not to. You've probably been in that situation, not to even try, right?
Well, I just used a lot of hairspray when I was a teenager.
Well, that was like in the 80s, was it? Part of it?
Yeah, and then
Close to 9. So hairspray was maybe a big thing then.
Yeah.
Anyway, like, was that offensive? No, it wasn't. They just never seen it. So when people ask other people, where are you from, or whatever, is that inappropriate? Guess what? It ain't. They're showing some degree of interest. Now, when they say, "Hey, you dumb whatever," why don't you go back to where? Well, that's a different matter. God,
yeah.
But microaggressions, come on. People are just trying to be friendly. So we never took it as being, wow, isn't that offensive? They're touching her and all that sort of stuff. We go, yeah, that's nice. They're kind of interested in things like that. Like, wow. People are really, really touchy about things that they shouldn't be touchy about.
So are your nectarines.
So there's a difference between ignorance and innocence.
Yeah. Oh, that was a good meal. Well worth waiting for in line. It was excellent.